Thanks, guys. I feel like I'm doing this for the first time. I've forgotten all the things I need to do to get this stream going. So I apologize if things are going to look a little rocky for the first couple minutes here. Hopefully we'll get reacquainted in a bit. Let's see. Can you guys hear me okay? Good to see you, Kathy. It's been a long time. Hope everyone is doing well. Sound good? Nice. Good to hear. All right, I'm going to get settled. We got about 42 people on the feed right now. We'll give it a couple minutes in case there are some more who are going to join us. It's only 8 o'clock right now. Almost as good as supermarket. Yeah, cheaper alcohol, but you have to provide it yourself in this scenario. Amazing. Good to know that there's people. I was worried attendance might be weak tonight because the weather is so nice that people might say, screw it, they don't want to be inside in front of a computer screen, instead enjoy the weather. But hopefully if you can combine both those worlds, then you're really living. So yeah, get a drink. I'm going to do the same, and we'll come back in just a couple seconds with the start of Quizzing in Quarantine Round 2, Fall Edition. All right, thanks for joining. Welcome back to Quizzing in Quarantine. My name's Mackay, coming to you from the same living room as I was 7 months ago when we did this for the first time in March. When we signed off in the summer, I really hoped that we would not be back in this situation where our Friday evenings are spent virtually getting together. But sadly, at least in this part of the province, in this part of the world, it is where we still find ourselves. So I figured, why not bring back Quizzing in Quarantine for the next 4 weeks? I've got nothing going on. You probably don't have much going on. Some things have changed. As James points out, there's only one Wayfarer chair. I did take the opportunity in the summer to redecorate. I did some renos on my house and thought I needed a bit of sprucing up. So you'll notice that there are still 2 Wayfarer chairs in my house, just not in the same location anymore. Maybe we'll find out. We'll give you a little tour later on. Yeah, it's an old bookshelf. All I did was move around. Actually, someone else moved around furniture for me. But that's what's happened. Same place, just a bit of a different dynamic. Same fireplace. I couldn't find the remote for the fireplace, so I actually had to light real candles in the fireplace because I couldn't figure out how to turn on the fake candles. Yeah, this is going to be a news-free zone for the night. I know some people in this on this chat right now work in the news. I work in the news. It's been a very busy week for news, but I think I say this as I have CNN on in the background, but I'm confident that we can get through the next 2 hours without talking about news. Martha Mackay is a very good friend of my mom's who's joining, I think, from the West Coast, who is in partially my namesake. So welcome, Martha. Thanks for logging on. Vancouver, beautiful. Love to have people from across the country joining Quizzing in Quarantine. In the spring, we had people all the way from Whistler to Halifax and a lot of points in between. So really nice to see lots of different Canadians joining and people from around the world as well. We had an Australian team when we were doing this earlier. Anyway, here are the simple rules of the night. Basically, it is an honesty sort of honesty is at the core of what we're going to do tonight. I'm going to share with you a scorecard that you are responsible for filling out as honestly as you see fit. Hopefully, the scores that you input will reflect the scores that you're actually getting, because there are some prizes that are going to be given out tonight. I'll let you know what those are a little later on. But what I'm going to do right now is just share again the link for the score sheet, and hopefully that will help you keep track of your score tonight and help me. It'll auto-populate the Excel spreadsheet that I'm using, and that I can then track your scores and figure out who's getting the prizes when we get towards the end of the evening. So without further ado, you have the link. All you need to do is create a team name, enter your team name in the Google Doc, and then we're set to go. We'll add up the points from the first 2 rounds after we complete the first 2 rounds. We'll add up the points 3 times throughout the night before revealing who it is that is the winning team. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions at all throughout the evening, feel free to put it in the chat, and I can field them. I will. The night is consisting of 6 rounds of trivia. I will always ask the questions twice and once at the end of the round if you need them repeated. So without further ado, I will bring back, for the first time in a while, Makai's Big Book of Trivia. Still lots and lots and lots of questions to get through, questions that we didn't get to in the spring edition of Quizzing in Quarantine. So I hope you have a drink or whatever it is that you're using to unwind on this lovely Friday evening. And we will begin with things I think you should know, which is a round of random knowledge trivia questions. Each question is worth a single point, and as I mentioned, I will ask the questions twice and once at the end of the round. So here we go. Question number 1. What provincial Canadian capital is the closest drive to Dallas, Texas? No matter what route you take, this provincial capital, or I should say, I guess it's depending on based on fastest driving routes, this is the provincial capital closest to Dallas, Texas. David, no IPA tonight. I stupidly planned this month during the same month that I decided to do a sober November. So I'm having SodaStream water. We'll see how long the sober November lasts. It's November 6th. I've done well so far, but I've also, at the end of every day, felt like I've been driven to drink and just haven't. So this is SodaStream water. Question number 1 again. What provincial capital is the closest drive to Dallas, Texas? So Anne-Marie, you write down your questions, your answers on a sheet of paper or on your own computer. Keep track. I'll give the answers at the end of each round, and then the link that I put in the chat, you enter the scores that you get in each round in that Google Doc. So there's no actual place to write down the answers to each question. Got it. Okay. Question number 2. What city are you arriving at if the airport code on your boarding pass reads PEK? If you can remember back to when we were allowed to travel, every airport has a 3-letter airport code. Vancouver's is YVR, Toronto's is YYZ. But what world city are you arriving at if the 3-letter airport code on your boarding pass reads PEK? Question number 3. Ernest Hemingway's classic novel, For Whom the Bell Tolls, is set amongst the backdrop of what bloody conflict? Question number 3. Ernest Hemingway's classic novel, For Whom the Bell Tolls, is set amongst the backdrop of what bloody conflict? Question number 4. Who was the first woman to win the Oscar for Best Director? You don't necessarily need to know the film, but you do need to know the director's name. Question number 4. Who was the first woman to win the Oscar for Best Director? Just because I'm being generous, if you only know the film, I'll give you a, I can't do half points on here. No, I'm gonna be a stickler. I'll be generous in other areas. Good for you if you know the film, but to get the point, you need to know the female director's name. Question number 5. Get the hell out of Dodge was a phrase made famous on the TV show Gunsmoke. In what American state will you find Dodge City? Again, number 5. Get the hell out of Dodge was a phrase made famous on the TV show Gunsmoke. In what American state will you find Dodge City? Question number 6, I recognize is really obvious if you are inclined to cheat. It makes it very easy to cheat, but I encourage you not to. Question number 6, what letter is situated between V and N on a standard American keyboard? What letter is situated between V and N on a standard American keyboard? Question number 7 is a bit of a stab in the dark, but you can probably narrow it down. Question number 7. Bob Dylan's debut album, Bob Dylan, is released. The last 3 hangings take place in Canada, and actor Jim Carrey is born. What year is it? Question number 7. These 3 things all happened in 1 year. You have to name that year. Bob Dylan's debut album, entitled Bob Dylan, is released. The last 3 hangings take place in Canada. And actor Jim Carrey is born. What year is it? Question number 8 every week is a Know Your News question. I said we were suspending attention to news for the night. This is not a heavy news question, so I felt like it was still qualifying. But it is a Know Your News question. What television show that originally aired from 1989 until 1993 inspired a new rebooted series for which a trailer was released this week? What TV series that originally aired from 1989 until 1993 inspired a new rebooted version of the series for which a trailer was released this week? You have to name that TV show. Question number 9. 18% of NHL players are from Ontario. What Canadian province makes up the second highest percentage of players in the league? $18% of all NHL players currently playing, or who were playing, I guess, in the 2019-2020 season, 18% of them are from Ontario. What province makes up the second largest number of players or percentage of players in the league? And here's tonight's first opportunity for a bonus point. For a bonus point, what U.S. state is most represented by player place of origin in the league? What U.S. state do more NHL players come from than any other state? that is worth a bonus point. And finally, a lot of CanCon in these questions in round number one. I apologize if there are some international players playing along, but a lot of Canadian questions. Question number 10, the last question in this round. The name and image of only one Canadian woman is contained within the pages of the latest edition of Canada's standard issue passport. Who is she? If you'll notice, there are quite a few men contained on pages of passports. Terry Fox is there, Sir John A. Macdonald is there, I believe Sir Stanford Fleming is there, but only one female Canadian is pictured in the Canadian passport. This was the passport that I believe started being used about 7 or 8 years ago. Who is that Canadian woman? Without going and looking at your passport. Which again, you probably haven't touched in 8 months, and so you probably don't even know where it is, but still, no cheating. Name the only Canadian woman contained within the pages of the latest edition of Canada's standard issue passport. All right, those are the 10 questions. If you're just joining us, it's not too late. I will read those questions one more time very quickly, and then we'll move on to round number 2. So, recapping question number 1. What provincial capital is the closest drive to Texas, or to Dallas, Texas? What Canadian provincial capital, closest drive to Dallas, Texas? Number 2, what city are you arriving in if the airport code on your boarding pass reads PEK? Number 3, Ernest Hemingway's classic novel For Whom the Bell Tolls is set amongst the backdrop of what bloody conflict? Question number 4, who is the first woman to win the Oscar for Best Director? Question number 5, get the hell out of Dodge was a phrase that originated as a part of the TV show Gunsmoke. In what U.S. state will you find Dodge City? Question number 6, what letter is situated between V and N on a standard American keyboard? Question number 7, Bob Dylan's debut album Bob Dylan is released. The last 3 hangings were held in Canada, and Jim Carrey was born. What year is it? And what year did those 3 things happen? James, it's not as the crow flies. It is basically if you put into Google Maps and try to figure out what Canadian city is closest to Dallas, Texas, if you're driving, that's the answer. Now you've thrown me off. Oh, sorry, question number 8. Know your news question. What television show that originally aired from 1989 until 1993 inspired a new rebooted series for which a trailer was released this past week? Question number 9. 18% of NHL players are from Ontario. What province makes up the 2nd highest percentage of players in the league? And for a bonus point, what American state makes up the highest percentage of place of origin when it comes to American states? What U.S. state is most represented in the NHL? And finally, question number 10. The name and the image of only one Canadian woman is contained within the pages of the current Canadian passport. Who is that woman? Those are the questions that make up round number 1. We'll move on, and I will give up those answers out in just a couple of moments. First, we're going to do round 2, and then I'll give out the answers for rounds 1 and rounds 2. Round number 2 is called the 10. You're going to have 8 minutes to compile this list. It's a bit of a work-at-home exercise. You can talk amongst yourselves. 8 minutes to answer this question. I'll set the timer here. You have to, in the next 8 minutes, name 10 of the top 15 best-selling English language books written in the last 200 years. Meaning the Bible is not included on this list. Same with a lot of other books. But written in the last 200 years, name 10 of the 15 best-selling English language books. These are books that were originally written in English. 8 minutes, rather, starting now. the clock here. Good question, Nora. Let me check the list. Most of them I will say are fiction. Let me see. No, not exclusively fiction, but just to put your point in the right direction, I would say at least 80% of these are fiction. Yeah, it's number of copies sold. So if there's a book that happened to be $300 in price, that doesn't jack up its place on the list. This is based on copies sold. Good to see you, Drew. Thanks for coming back. And yeah, Kathleen, it's 200 years. These are books that were written in the last 200 years. Checking in on the time. 6 minutes. 6 minutes left to come up with 10 of the 15 best-selling books based on copies sold, English language books written in the last 200 years. Oh, Brad Baby, I'm sorry. I will fully admit I'm great at the compiling of the questions, writing of the questions, asking of the questions. The delivering of the prizes, definitely a weak spot. If you send me a message, I'll try my best to get you that breakfast spoon. I'm making no promises these days because the prizes are hard to come by and even harder to get out the door. But if you send me your address, I'll see what I can do. I remember you winning that breakfast spoon. You had the grossest breakfast cereal, and that was impressive. You know what? That's the one thing I forgot to do tonight too, is think of a good scavenger hunt question. I'll see if I can think of one in the next couple minutes. We'll get to it perhaps. Yeah, Tim's was gross. I was going to do something about like best quarantine beard or best quarantine, like whoever's let themselves go most during quarantine, during the lockup. But I feel like that's rather subjective and not necessarily gender neutral, because I think it's probably and sadly more acceptable for guys to let themselves go with their hair in quarantine. Oh, Jacob, I don't know how I even added you as a mod. Let me see if I can, how do I do that? Let's see. There we go. Dan, these are books, well, a book in a general sense, broad term, but I think I indicated that about, I would say at least 80% of the books on this list are fiction, AKA novels, I guess. How much time left in this round? 3 minutes and 30 seconds, exactly. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in this round. 2 minutes and 40 seconds now. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in this round. One minute left to answer the question, or name 10 of the top 15 best-selling English language books written in the last 200 years. Let's see, got to get close to the time now. That's it, time is up. Pens down to time to take up the answers from rounds 1 and 2, our first rounds of trivia. Keep in mind, you get a single point per correct answer. And after this, I'll instruct you to go to that Google Doc and enter your scores. All right, starting with round number 1. The first question I asked, the provincial capital that is the closest drive to Dallas, Texas, believe it or not, it is Toronto. Toronto is the closest capital in terms of driving distance to Dallas, Texas. Question number 2, the question was, what city are you arriving in if the 3-letter boarding airport code on your boarding pass reads PEK? It's actually Beijing, based on Beijing's previous name of Peking, P-E-K-I-N-G. Beijing is the answer for number 2. Number 3, the question was, Hemingway's classic novel For Whom the Bell Tolls is set amongst the backdrop of the Spanish Civil War. Spanish Civil War. Question number 4, the first woman to win the Oscar for Best Director. You may have guessed, as James indicated, probably, the film's title was The Hurt Locker, but the director, her name, Catherine Bigelow. Catherine Bigelow. Question number 5, get the hell out of Dodge is a phrase that originated in Dodge City. Dodge City is in what state? It's in Kansas. Kansas. Question number 6, the letter that is situated between V and N on a standard American keyboard is the letter B. B is the answer for number 6. Number 7, Bob Dylan's debut album was released. The last legal hanging in Canada takes place, and Jim Carrey is born. All of those 3 things happened in the year 1962. Question number 8, know your news. The TV series that its reboot is coming to a streaming service, I think. The trailer was released for it this week. That TV series was Saved by the Bell. hard to believe it only ran for 4 seasons, as actually Saved by the Bell. There was a series that preceded it, and a couple series that came after. But the actual Saved by the Bell only aired for 4 seasons, and it's coming back later this fall in a new rebooted series. Question number 9, 18% of NHL players are from Ontario. The second most represented province in the league is actually Alberta. I think a lot of people probably thought Quebec. Quebec's actually 4th. It goes Alberta, 5.5% of the league is from Alberta, 5.4% of the league is from British Columbia, and the final province, or Quebec, represents 4.8% of the league. The U.S. state most represented in the league, based on players' states of birth or states of origin, is Minnesota. 4.4% of the NHL is Minnesotans. 3.2% from Michigan, and 2.8% from Massachusetts. But Minnesota is the correct answer. If you're challenging the answers, I'll come back to you in a second. Jacob, you're quickly going to lose your mod status if you're questioning my knowledge. And finally, number 10, the final question in the round. The only woman whose name and face appear in the pages of our Canadian passport, Nellie McClung, suffragist and obviously a well-known Canadian. Nellie McClung, the only American to appear in the pages of our passport. All right, so you're wondering, you're saying Winnipeg is shorter by distance, driving distance? I gotta check that. In fairness, I wrote these questions a while back, so I'll go back and check that. Give yourself a question mark on that one for now. All right, moving on to round number 2, the 10. Here are the top 15 best-selling books of the last 200 years, written in the last 200 years. Here we go. Starting with number 15, you'll see a trend here. Again, you only need 10 of these. You get a single point for every correct item you have on the list. All right, if you guys are all saying Winnipeg, I'll give a point for either Toronto or Winnipeg. Moving on to the 10. The 15th best-selling book on this list, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Then we have Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Number 13, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Number 12, not Harry Potter. Number 12, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Number 11, The Catcher in the Rye. Number 10, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Number 9, a book called Think and Grow Rich. Number 8, The Da Vinci Code. Remember that book? It sold 80 million copies since it was published. Number 7 is a book called She, A History of Adventure by H. Rider Haggard. 83 million copies. Number 6, best-selling book of the last 200 years in English, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is number 6. Number 4, a book by Agatha Christie called And Then There Were None. Number 3, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Number 2, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and the best-selling English language book written in the last 200 years based on copies sold, Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. So on that list, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Harry Potter books. I'll read again: Harry Potter, Goblet of Fire, Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter, Chamber of Secrets, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, Catcher in the Rye, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Think and Grow Rich, The Da Vinci Code, She, A History of Adventure, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Alice in Wonderland. I think I left that one out. Alice in Wonderland. And Then There Were None, The Hobbit, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and A Tale of Two Cities. You have a possible score of 10 for that round. You only looking for 10 titles, but you could have any of those 15. All right, now what you need to do is click on, I'll share this link one more time, just in case you don't have it yet. Click on that link, write down your team name and your email. You'll have about 2 minutes to do that, and then I will check the scores and I'll introduce teams, and then we'll move on to rounds 3 and rounds 4. Also, I haven't plugged this yet. I'll probably, you'll hear sick of me saying this, but if you have not done so yet, I'm hoping you can subscribe to this channel. You don't have to submit if you don't want, Emery. It's completely up to you. You can just play along and just play for the fun of it. Absolutely no obligation to submit, but if you want to win a prize, that's how we track scores. But no, there's no one is compelled to submit a score. Yeah, hit the bell for notifications. I feel like a TikTok kid promoting my channel, but you know, I'm trying to do this in a way that makes it sustainable and maybe even get a sponsor or someone to bring prizes forward that are a little more impactful. And so if I'm able to get up to 1,000 subscribers, right now I'm at 320, so there's a long way to go. It makes that a lot easier. You get a certain recognition from the folks at YouTube. I'm going to bring up my score sheet here so I can read all the team names. I see one team is playing along outdoors. Anyone else enjoying the weather, sitting out on their deck or on a dock or something, somewhere nicer than a living room? Smash that like button. All right, let's see. We got responses coming in. 36 teams so far are registering. That's great to see. Yep, you can submit now. Exactly, yeah, we would submit now. And if you don't submit now and you want to submit later, that's okay too. Rules are pretty light around here. All right. All right, we got some teams coming in. I will introduce the teams in no particular order. Well, I guess the order in which they submitted their scores. For some reason, I'm seeing scores for other rounds. So make sure that you're only filling out the scores for rounds 1 and rounds 2 right now. Oh, you know what? I know why that is. There we go. I was looking at I hadn't deleted the teams from when we played back in August. All right, tonight, the teams playing this evening are Pizza Club, Cabin Fever Fight Club, Millsiders, Away Alone, Alasta Love, Along the River Run, past Even Adams, from Swerve to Shore, of Shore to Bend of Bay, brings us Mackay's Wayfarer chairs back to Howitt Castle and Environs. I'm never ceased at the creativity with which people are able to come up with team names. A Case of the Mondays, Penny and the Jets, Deja Phase 2, Threat Level Midnight, Billy Ray Virus, Better Late Than Nevada. I like that. Well done. Jerry Squad, You're a Quizzard, Harry, Rainbow Super Friends, Kung Fu, The Lockdown Continues, YTV's Weird on Wheels, Are You There, Nevada? It's Me, Margaret, Katrina and the Second Waves, aka A Trivia Month. That is a very good name as well. No News is Good News, Bundles of Bazooper Bunch, Boogaloo Boys, Kinder Egg Full of Bullshit, COVID-69, Never Gonna Count the Ballots. Never Gonna Count the Ballots. That's not bad too. The Hanging Chads. It's a throwback. Electoral College Dropouts. We Don't Know Jack. Just biding our time. Big Brian Academy, happy to be back. Ballot Dump, Monocle Whores, At Least We're Above Average, Quarantina Turner, Trivia Lassies, Revengeance, Viva Vancouver, Keith Urban Spoon, Urinary 8-Track Infection, Area Man, Jackie Channing Tatum, Ray-Ban Aviators, and finally, Tit Soup for the Leg 2020 Soul. Leg or leg? I don't know how I'm supposed to pronounce that. A lot of teams tonight. That is fantastic to see so many teams coming out for our first of our November surprise trivia edition. The average score after the first 2 rounds of play is 5.3. So don't worry, if you're scoring above 5.3 at this point, you're doing really well. Oh, Jenny found the questions were too fast. I will slow it down. I'll slow it down for the next round. Good. I like this feedback. Again, I haven't done this in a couple months, so I may have lost my my touch. Cheers. Someone was requesting a cheers. Thank you very much for everyone coming back and joining us for this November edition of Quizzing in Quarantine. We're going to get set with round 3. I will slow down the questions as people have requested. This is another round of things I think you should know. 10 more general knowledge trivia questions. Each question, again, worth a single point. Here we go. Question number 1. What country's 6th largest city is an anagram of its capital city? Which country's 6th largest city is an anagram of its capital city? Question number 2. What former world leader resided on Robben Island from 1964 until 1982? You need this person's name. What former world leader lived or resided? I think lived is maybe being too not the right word. Resided on Robben Island from 1964 until 1982. Question number 3. I should have done a pronouncer check before this, so I could be wrong. I'll spell it in a second, but I think it's a minke, pilot, and northern bottlenose are all types of what? That first word is spelled M-I-N-K-E. Minke? Minke, pilot, and northern bottlenose are all types of what? Minky? Okay. You're confident with that? That's impressive. I did not know that. Question number 4. Name the ocean liner sunk by German U-boats off the coast of Ireland in May 1915. Again, name the ocean liner sunk by German U-boats off the coast of Ireland in May of 1915. Question number 5. What classic novel begins with the line, quote, "The boy with fair hair lowered himself down the last few feet of rock and began to pick his way towards the lagoon"? Again, number 5. What classic novel begins with the line, "The boy with the fair hair lowered himself down the last few feet of rock and began to pick his way towards the lagoon"? Question number 6. Born March 28th, 1986, in New York City, Stephanie Germanotta is better known by what name? Question number 6. Born March 28th, 1986, in New York City, Stephanie Germanotta is better known by what name? Here's question number 7. Only one world capital begins with the letter I. Can you name it? Only one world capital begins with the letter I. Can you name it? Question number 8 is a bit of a throwback. In the previous round, I asked a question about Saved by the Bell. On Saved by the Bell, what was the name of the high school football team that was featured on the show? I think AC Slater was maybe the captain of it. What was the name of the high school football team featured on the show Saved by the Bell? Question number 9. With 35 million units sold, what is the most popular game ever produced for Game Boy? Again, number 9. It's the most popular game ever produced for the platform or the device Game Boy. It sold 35 million units. What was that game called? And finally, question number 10 from the world of film. Leonardo DiCaprio was nominated for an acting Oscar 4 times before winning Best Actor for the film The Revenant. For what 1994 film was he first nominated? It's a tough one too. These are tough questions. I probably should have eased us back into the trivia mindset. These are all rather tough questions. Again, question number 10. Leonardo DiCaprio was nominated for an acting Oscar 4 times before he won for The Revenant. I think he won in 2016 for that. But for what movie was he first nominated back in 1994? All right. That is the end. Oh, I'm going to read the questions again one more time. Rather quickly, I apologize, whoever it was, Jenny maybe, who was recommending I slow down a bit. But I'll read these questions one more time, rather quickly. And then we'll move on to round number 4. Question number 1 in this round was, what country's 6th largest city happens to be an anagram of its capital city? That is a tough question. Number 2, what former world leader resided on Robben Island from 1964 until 1982? Minke, pilot, and northern bottlenose are all types of what? Number 4, name the ocean liner sunk by German U-boats off the coast of Ireland in May 1915. Number 5, what classic novel begins with the line, quote, "The boy with fair hair lowered himself down the last few feet of rock and began to pick his way towards the lagoon"? Number 6, born March 28, 1986 in New York City, Stephanie Germanotta is better known by what name? Number 7, only one world capital begins with the letter I. Can you name it? Number 8, on the TV show Saved by the Bell, what was the name of the high school football team? Number 9, selling 35 million units in total. Name the most popular game ever produced for Game Boy. And number 10, Leonardo DiCaprio has been nominated, was nominated 4 times for an acting Oscar before winning for The Revenant. What film made in 1994 was he first nominated for a role in? All right, that is round number 3. Round number 4 is another visual round. This might be a challenge too. Testing it out. If it's too tough a round, then we can retire it. But I'm gonna send you a link to a document. If I can do this. Get link. There we go. Copy link. You're going to have, let's say 10 minutes to do this. It'll give you a chance to talk amongst yourselves. But here's how this is going to work. I have gone on Google Earth and screen grabbed images of 10 different capital cities. I took out all the layers that have any information other than just the Google Earth image. So no roads, no borders, no distinguishing markers other than just the geographic, reality of these 10 capital cities. You have to try and name those 10 capital cities. So that is the link. You should be able to click and open a Google or a PowerPoint presentation. And if you scroll through the slides, as I'm trying to do right now, hopefully this works. Those are all satellite images of capital cities around the world. Denied. Okay. I will give you guys, I guess I have to do this. Hold on. Let me do it again. Sorry. I messed up. Why is this not working? Remember I did this last, I used to do this a lot when we first started out, and then I got better about it. Get a link. Anyone with this link, there we go. Okay, now if you open there we go. Try again. So yeah, 10 minutes starting now to socialize and try and examine those images to see if you can determine which they're all capital cities. That narrows it down to like, you know, just about 200 cities in the world. They're all capital cities too that you've heard of. They're not really obscure capital cities. Starting 10 minutes on the clock now. Best of luck. Good question, James. Yeah, that is it. North is at the top of all of these images. I should have mentioned that. Some are a little more zoomed in, some are a little further back. Eight minutes now, 8 minutes left in this round. Correct, Karen, these are all capital cities. And I would say they're all but two are certainly over 1 million people. There might be two, well, there are two that are slightly under 1 million people. Yeah, these are capital cities of countries. I went back and was looking, I'm like, oh, this is not as easy. I thought it'd be a little more accessible. How much time is left? Just under 5 minutes. 4 minutes and 45 seconds left in this round. Three minutes and 20 seconds left in this round. We've gone from like 75 people down to 68. Not everyone loves this round, I think, just judging by the ratings. Either way, it's almost over. 2 minutes and 45 seconds left, and then we'll move on to something that I would argue the next 2 rounds are a little more eye level. James, little secret, I know James in real life, and he's not nearly as funny as he is on YouTube comment boards, which makes me think it's his fiance writing these comments, because I don't understand how someone can be so deadpan in real life and quite quippy and funny online. All right, how much time? Not a lot of time left. 1 minute and 40 seconds. I want to thank everyone else who, we did one in-person trivia night in the last 8 months. We tried it out at supermarket, and about 30 some odd people came out. We had, I think, 6 teams, and I really appreciate everyone's support. It obviously, I felt very safe doing it. It was a safe night, but I feel like it was obviously legally, we aren't able to do that in Toronto right now anyway. But I do want to thank all the teams that made an effort to come out and have a safe in-person night. It was really great seeing a lot of your faces in person. And Bronwyn, I agree, that does not surprise me at all that you are the one with the intellect and the humor and really the full package. I don't know what you are carrying that dead weight for, but I'll save that for a speech at the wedding. Anyway, I think we are 30 seconds to complete the round, figure out those 10 capital cities included on that map. And then we'll take up the scores, or take up the answers rather, from rounds 3 and rounds 4, and enter those scores into the Google Doc. Three, two, one. Time is up. Pens down, pencils down, hands off keyboards. We'll take up the answers. Again, starting here from round 3, things I think you should know. 2. Each question is worth a point, as I mentioned. This was a tough one. What country's 6th largest city is an anagram of its capital city? Tokyo and Kyoto are the 2 cities. So Japan is the country. Tokyo, obviously the capital. Kyoto is a anagram of Tokyo. In Japanese, I guess one means east capital and one means west capital, apparently. Anyway, Japan is the answer. Number 2, what former world leader resided on Robben Island from 1964 until 1982? Robben Island is a small island off the coast of Cape Town in South Africa. It was the prison, on it was a prison that held Nelson Mandela for that time. Nelson Mandela is the answer. Question number 3, minke, pilot, and northern bottlenose are all types of whales. Whales, the answer. The name of the U-boat, the name of the ocean liner sunk by German U-boats in May of 1915? Lusitania. Number 5, the classic novel that began with the line I read, referring to a fair-haired boy lowering himself down from rocks. If you can picture that scene, you could probably picture the book Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Flies is the answer. Number 6, Stephanie Germanotta is better known as Lady Gaga. Number 7, the only world capital to begin with the letter I is Islamabad in Pakistan. Question number 8, the name of the football team on the TV series Saved by the Bell, the Bayside Tigers. You need both Bayside and Tigers in order to get the point. Question number 9, what game selling 35 million units was the most popular game produced for Game Boy? Tetris is the answer. Tetris. And finally, the acting role that netted Leonardo DiCaprio's very first Oscar nomination was in 1994. Co-starred, I think, was it Winona Ryder in that? I know Johnny Depp was. Anyway, What's Eating Gilbert Grape? What's Eating Gilbert Grape? The name of the film that resulted in Leonardo DiCaprio's first Oscar nomination. That was not an easy round. Well done if you did well. Speaking of rounds that were not overly easy, I don't think this math round was particularly easy. Hopefully there were some distinguishing features that you could identify that would earn you a point. Starting off with the first city in the news a lot right now. I'm watching a live shot of it right now on CNN. Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is number 1. Number 2, not easy, and certainly the smallest, I believe, on this list, Reykjavik. Reykjavik. Number 3, you can see the Thames making its way through this frame. London is number 3. London. Number 4, we just mentioned it. Tokyo is number 4. Tokyo. Number 5, Rome. You can see the Colosseum and Circus Maximus, is that what it's called? Another big set of ruins in Rome in that image. Number 7, hopefully you got this one, it's Ottawa. Ottawa is number 7. Number 8 was tough. It's Moscow. Moscow, number 8. Number 7 was Moscow. Number 8 was Paris. Number 8 is Paris. I'll go through the list again in a second. Number 9, Buenos Aires was number 9. And number 10 was Berlin. Again, that list. Washington, D.C., Reykjavik, Iceland, London, United Kingdom, Tokyo, Japan is number 4. Number 5, Rome, Italy. Number 6, Ottawa, Canada. Number 7, Moscow, Russia. Number 8, Paris, France. Number 9, Buenos Aires, Argentina. And number 10, Berlin, Germany. Well done to any team. I would say any team that got over 5 is really pretty impressive because those are not easy to identify without any distinguishing factors. So at this time, I encourage you to please go on back onto the Google Doc and update your scores from the next 2 rounds. You don't need to resubmit. I forget how I phrased this last time, but there's a way in which you don't need to, you can just go back and edit it. You don't have to sort of resubmit it again. And it should just update in the Excel spreadsheet that I look at here on my computer. While you do that, I want to thank, give a special shout out. If you notice the avatar now for this YouTube channel, as well as the image that's on our Facebook page, is now instead of a Drinking and Thinking logo, we fully migrated over to the Quizzing and Quarantine logo. And I want to thank my friend and colleague, Michael Collins, who is on this playing tonight. I believe Michael did a fantastic job amongst doing a ton of other stuff as part of his normal job. And he just did this as a favor for me. So thank you very much, Michael. It looks great. Yeah, number 6 is Ottawa. Thank you. All right, I will check the scores as they're coming in and do a little update. Oh, and I should tell you what we're playing for tonight. No, that trailer was all me. I will take 100% credit for that. I'm not very handy with editing normally, but I played around for a long night. This is when I was, before I was doing Sober November, I worked on that trailer and had like 5 beers and worked on it and used iMovie. And I was, yeah, very, very happy with it. So thank you for that, noticing that. All right, let's check the scores. Lots of scores coming in. Give it a couple more minutes for people to register or to log your scores. Looks like almost everyone has resubmitted now. Waiting just for a couple more teams. I also want to say, in terms of prizes, and these guys have been so supportive all the way through. Every time I email them and ask for something, they are always so quick to give back. And so we're giving away some Steam Whistle gift certificates this week. If you haven't supported Steam Whistle in a while, I hadn't had a Steam Whistle. Nothing feels more Toronto than having a Steam Whistle on a nice day, and tomorrow's gonna be a really nice one. So I encourage you to get out and grab a beer, and thank you to Steam Whistle. We're giving away some 12 packs tonight that they've been supplying for a long, long time now. So that's up for grabs. And if you have other prizes that you, if you work with an organization or a company, or you wanna get your brand out in front of the loyal Quizzing and Quarantine audience, let me know, and we're always looking for new prizes. I still think I still have it. One of the best prizes that we were able to give away last time, some folks who were playing made custom coasters, and they made this custom coaster for me, Drinking and Thinking, very kindly. They're called the Maker Bean, and they gave away a prize pack where they got to make winners their own coasters, which is incredibly cool. So I really love it when people reach out with ideas for prizes, and you can supply a prize. So yeah, let's see how. Oh, the oven mitt. Yeah, the oven mitt was a prize as well. That one I think I supplied, and I don't even know if I ever actually made good on that, but it was the lobster oven mitt. Anyway, average score now after 4 rounds of play. Average score, oh, how do I do this? Let's see here. Average score 13.5. So congratulations, if you're scoring above 13.5, you're doing incredibly well. If you are not, that's okay. There's still 2 rounds to go. and we'll see how people are doing after the final 2 rounds. We used to, when we were playing in person, do a movie-themed round, and I've yet to find a good way to be able to play audio of a movie clip that you could guess. So instead, I've adapted this movie round. I'm calling it People and Places. Here's how this is going to work. I'm going to read out 2 character names and the location, the geographic location of the setting of this film. You have to use that information to try and guess the film. This is definitely a round that speaks to film buffs. So if you're not super into film, hopefully there's someone on your team who is. But again, like the previous round, testing it out tonight, seeing how it works, and we'll go from there. So again, I will read these twice and once at the end of the round, 2 characters and the location. Most of these locations are real geographic locations. I think at least one is fictional. So here we go. Movie number 1. Danny Archer, Maddie Bowen, Freetown, Sierra Leone. Characters' names: Danny Archer and Maddie Bowen. Location: Freetown, Sierra Leone. Question number 2. Scotty Smalls, Benny Rodriguez, San Fernando Valley, California. Movie number 2. Scotty Smalls, Benny Rodriguez, San Fernando Valley, California. Question number 3. Jane Banks, Bert, London, England. No last name for Bert. Again, movie number 3. Jane Banks, Bert, London, England. Movie number 4. Billy Costigan, Frank Costello, Boston, Massachusetts. Again, movie number 4. Billy Costigan, Frank Costello, in Boston, Massachusetts. Movie number 5. Rachel Chu and Nick Young in Singapore. Again, movie number 5. Rachel Chu and Nick Young in Singapore. Movie number 6. Stanley Ipkiss, Tina Carlisle in Edge City. I think that's obviously the fictional location. Movie number 7. Oh, I'll read 6 again. I think I only read it once. Number 6. Stanley Ipkiss, Tina Carlisle in Edge City. Number 7, Dolores Van Cartier, Mary Patrick in Reno, Nevada and San Francisco, California. Movie number 7 again, Dolores Van Cartier and Mary Patrick in both Reno, Nevada and San Francisco, California. Number 8, maybe the genius point around might be the toughest one, I think, perhaps. Number 8, Rob Gordon and Barry Judd in Chicago, Illinois. Bob Gordon and Barry Judd in Chicago, Illinois. Number 9, movie number 9. Wallace Wells and Ramona Flowers in Toronto, Ontario. Number 9, Wallace Wells and Ramona Flowers in Toronto, Ontario. And lastly, the final movie in the round, movie number 10, Mikey Walsh and Mouth Devereaux in Astoria, Oregon. Number 10, Mikey Walsh and Mouth Devereaux in Astoria, Oregon. All right, I will repeat these films one more time before we move on to round number 6. The clues for these films are, number 1, Danny Archer and Matty Bowen in Freetown, Sierra Leone. Number 2, Scotty Smalls and Benny Rodriguez in San Fernando Valley, California. Number 3, Jane Banks and Bert in London, England. Number 4, Billy Costigan and Frank Costello in Boston, Massachusetts. Number 5, Rachel Chu and Nick Young in Singapore. Number 6, Stanley Ipkiss and Tina Carlisle in Edge City. Number 7, Dolores Van Cartier and Mary Patrick in Reno, Nevada. And San Francisco, I should know, those 2 cities. Number 8, Rob Gordon and Barry Judd in Chicago, Illinois. Number 9, Wallace Wells and Ramona Flowers in Toronto, Ontario. And finally, Mikey Walsh and Mouth Devereaux in Astoria, Oregon. All right. Before we take up the answers to that round, it is time for the final round of the night in terms of questions. And that is the final Jeopardy round. These questions you cannot dispute, Jacob, because they are all from an actual episode of Jeopardy that aired. And this air date is somewhat important because it kind of frames the confines of the questions. These Jeopardy questions aired on an episode on Monday, January 29th, 2007. 13 years ago, more than 13 and a half years ago now. So anything that's happened in human history, most of which I think we'd want to forget anyway, that's happened in the last 13 years can't be included in this round, obviously. Glad you guys liked it. Thanks, Jason. Here we go. I'll read the category and the clue twice, once at the end of the round. You do not need to write your answers in the form of a question. Question number 1. This is fitting. Category, DC sites, as in Washington, DC sites. The clue, this center includes restaurants, theaters, a concert hall, and an opera house. Category is DC sites, and the clue, This center includes restaurants, theaters, a concert hall, and an opera house. Question number 2, the category, Coming to America. The clue, it's the more colorful nickname for the document affirming lawful permanent residence. Question number 2, the category, Coming to America. And the clue, it's the more colorful nickname for the document affirming lawful permanent residence. Question number 3, the category, Historic HBO. The clue, on Deadwood, Gerald McRaney played a vicious magnate whose son would become this real-life publishing mogul. The category is Historic HBO, and the clue, on Deadwood, Gerald McRaney played a vicious magnate whose son would become this real-life publishing mogul. Question number 4, the category, It borders China. The clue, the one country that borders both China and the Yellow Sea. Category for number 4 is It borders China, and the clue, the one country that borders both China and the Yellow Sea. Question number 5, the category, Aye, aye, sir, with the letters I in quotation, meaning those 2 letters back to back, that 1 letter back to back, must appear somewhere in the answer. The clue, a large, meaty, black mushroom native to Eastern Asia. Category is Aye, aye, sir, and the clue, a large, meaty, black mushroom native to Eastern Asia. Question number 6, the category, Saint Valentine. The clue, the main historical figure connected with the main historical figure connected with the Saint Valentine legend was martyred in this imperial capital. Category is Saint Valentine, and the clue, the main historical figure connected with the Saint Valentine legend was martyred in this imperial capital. Question number 7, category, the heart. The heart is the category. The clue, the left ventricle sends oxygen-rich blood to this largest artery in the body. Category is the heart, and the clue, the left ventricle sends oxygen-rich blood to this largest artery in the body. Question number 8, the category, roses. Roses is the category. The clue, in a sonnet, Shakespeare refers to these pink roses whose name is derived from the capital of Syria. Category again is roses, and the clue, in a sonnet, Shakespeare refers to these pink roses whose name is derived from the capital of Syria. Question number 9, the category, sweet nothings is the category. The clue, this term for a beloved is also the surname of Peter Pan's Wendy. Category again for number 9 is sweet nothings. And the clue, this term for a beloved is also the surname of Peter Pan's Wendy. Question number 10, the category celluloid love. Celluloid love is the category. The clue, this Nicolas Cage Meg Ryan Weeper is a remake of the Wim Wenders film Der Himmel über Berlin. Category again for number 10, celluloid love. The clue, this Nicolas Cage Meg Ryan Weeper is a remake of the Wim Wenders film Der Himmel über Berlin. And finally, as a bonus question, worth 1 point, the final Jeopardy category on this night in January of 2007 was American plays. And the clue, this drama is set at a summer home in August 1912. Act 1 takes place at 8:30 a.m. Act 4 is 15 and a half hours later at midnight. Category again is American plays, and the clue, this drama is set at a summer home in August 1912. Act 1 takes place at 8:30 a.m. Act 4 is 15 and a half hours later at midnight. I am going to right now recap these questions rather quickly, reading them one more time, after which we'll take up the answers for rounds 5 and round 6. Recapping, here we go. Question number 1, the category, DC sites. The clue, this center includes restaurants, theaters, a concert hall, and an opera house. Question number 2, category, coming to America. The clue, it's the more colorful nickname for the document affirming lawful permanent residence. Question number 3, the category, historic HBO. The clue, on Deadwood, Gerald McRaney played a vicious magnate whose son would become this real-life publishing mogul. Number 4, the category, it borders China. The clue, the one country that borders both China and the Yellow Sea. Number 5, the category, aye, sir, the letters I in quotations. The clue, a large, meaty black mushroom native to Eastern Asia. Question number 6, the category, St. Valentine. The clue, the main historical figure connected with the St. Valentine legend was martyred in this imperial capital. Question number 7, the category is the heart. The clue, the left ventricle sends oxygen-rich blood to this largest artery in the body. Question number 8, the category, roses. The clue, in a sonnet, Shakespeare refers to these pink roses whose name is derived from the capital of Syria. Question number 9, the category is sweet nothings. The clue, this term for a beloved is also the surname of Peter Pan's Wendy. Question number 10, the category, celluloid love. The clue, this Nicolas Cage Meg Ryan Weeper is a remake of the Wim Wenders film Der Himmel über Berlin. And finally, the last question, the category, American plays. The clue, this drama is set at a summer home in August of 1912. Act 1 takes place at 8:30 a.m. Act 4 takes place 15 and a half hours later at midnight. All right, that is it. I will go back to round 5 and we'll take up the answers from the film round. Again, you get a single point for every correct film you guessed. Danny Archer, Maddie Bowen, both characters in the film, they're played by, I think, Jennifer Connelly and Leonardo DiCaprio in Blood Diamond. There aren't many films that take place in Sierra Leone. That's probably the most famous one. Number 2, Scott Smalls and Benny Rodriguez in San Fernando Valley, California. Scotty Smalls, those are 2 characters from The Sandlot. I didn't realize it was San Fernando Valley, but apparently it was. The Sandlot. classic baseball film that was released like 27 years ago now. Jane Banks and Bert in London, England. That is the classic film Mary Poppins. Banks being the last name of the family that Mary Poppins goes to be a nanny for. Number 4, Billy Costigan, Frank Costello. I think that's another Leonardo DiCaprio mentioned. They are both characters in the film The Departed that takes place in Boston. Number 5, Rachel Chu and Nick Young, characters who spend most of the film in Singapore in the film Crazy Rich Asians. Number 6, Stanley Ipkiss, Tina Carlisle in Edge City. Edge City is a fictional city in the film The Mask. Those are characters played by Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz. Number 7, Dolores Van Cartier, Mary Patrick in Reno, Nevada and San Francisco, California. Classic 90s comedy, Sister Act, Whoopi Goldberg and Kathy Najimy, I forget her last name, played Mary Patrick. Number 8, this was a tough one. Rob Gordon and Barry Judd in Chicago, Illinois. There's probably too much of a lag, but I wonder if anyone wants to prove how smart they are and just know if they got, like, no one takes a guess on that one. It was a film starring John Cusack and Jack Black. It's called High Fidelity. Number 9, oh, Drew got it spelt wrong, but I know you, yeah, there, well done. And now I know how long the lag is. Number 9, Wallace Wells, Ramona Flowers. Sadly, there aren't too many films there are a lot of films shot here in Toronto, not a ton set here. This one, though, very prominently is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And lastly, Mikey Walsh and Mount Devereaux in Astoria, Oregon, another classic, The Goonies. I think it was Sean Astin and Corey Haim, or Corey Feldman. One of the Coreys played Mount Devereaux. Feldman? Anyway, in The Goonies. So those films again, Blood Diamond, The Sandlot, Mary Poppins, The Departed, Crazy Rich Asians, The Mask, Sister Act, High Fidelity, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and The Goonies. All right, on to the Jeopardy questions. Which again, Scott Pilgrim was a great movie. Yeah, and R.I.P. Honest Ed's. If you've not seen Scott Pilgrim, I have to admit I didn't see it till a couple years after it came out because I think I wrote it off as like a stupid comic book film, but it's really well done. Here we go, and very much takes place in Toronto. It shows off a lot of great spots in the city. Here we go. The DC site referenced question number 1 in the Jeopardy round. That would be the Kennedy Center. Kennedy Center. There. Number 2, Coming to America. The more colorful nickname for a legal document in question is Green Card. Green Card. The character on Deadwood they were referring to would become the real-life publishing mogul William Randolph Hearst. William Randolph Hearst. Number 4, the only country that borders China and the LOC is North Korea. II Siri, the name of the mushroom in question is shiitake, S-H-I-I-T-A-K-E. Number 6, the city in which St. Valentine legend was martyred is Rome. Number 7, the heart. The largest artery in the body that the left ventricle sends oxygen-rich blood to is the aorta. Number 9, this was a tough one, I think. Shakespeare refers to in a sonnet these pink roses, whose name is derived from the capital of Syria. Capital of Syria, obviously, is Damascus, but you need to know that the name of the roses are Damask roses, D-E-M-A-S-K roses. I don't think I've ever said the word mask so many times than in this year and tonight. Number 9, Sweet Nothings. This term for a beloved is also the surname of Peter Pan's Wendy. Her surname is Darling. Darling is the answer. Number 10, Celluloid Love. This Nicolas Cage, Meg Ryan Weeper is a remake of the Wim Wenders film Der Himmel über Berlin. The answer, City of Angels. And finally, American plays is the final category. The play in question that starts in the morning and goes till midnight. If you figured that out, you might have guessed A Long Day's Journey into Night by Eugene O'Neill. All right, now is the time, end of the night, to head back to that Google document one final time. Someone asked if there will be prizes for a creative team name. I should do that. I mean, it's a little arbitrary and a little bit subjective because I feel like it would just rest with me, but there were some great ones tonight. And I appreciate anyone who can be really punny and topical. I mean, it's easy to reuse good trivia names, but if you're coming up almost every week with a trivia name based on something happening in the news cycle, that is a quick way to my heart. I like Katrina and the Second Waves. That was a really good one. Are You There, Nevada? It's me, Margaret. Better Late Than Nevada. Another good one. What else? We had some good ones. Any title that, or any team name that makes me read more than 8 words or 6 words, I'm not a fan of. Just, you know. Kung Fu, The Lockdown Continues, not bad. All right, a ballot dump. I'll give another 30 seconds for people to submit their scores. Again, battling out tonight for, let's do first place and penultimate place, the second last loser, or second last team, I should say. I don't like that. You shouldn't use that L word. We'll be getting a 12-pack of Steam Whistle beer from our friends at Steam Whistle. And so you'll have to message me if you are the team that wins. People also, I've heard in the off season, as I was generating feedback about quizzing in quarantine, people were saying they didn't like the fact that when I announced the top 10, that I would, if there were teams, 4 teams that tied for 7th, that I listed all those teams. I was just trying to show some love to as many teams as I could, but people are rather strict on the way they want this to come together. Oh, you know what I also didn't do? I'm out of the habit. I should be doing my Excel formula, and now I can't remember how to do. What is it? If I want to do sum equals sum, what is this? Sum equals bracket. Oh man. Anyone offhand is an Excel nerd and knows the way to do a formula to quickly add up a number of cells? Try this. No, that's definitely not it. Equals sum and just drag. Let's see if that works. Oh, I think I figured out the way I should do it. Hold on. I got it. Oh no, that doesn't work. There we go. I figured it out. Basically, I heard the feedback about the scoring, but I'm still going to do it the way I like to do it because I like to give as many teams a moment to shine as possible. All right. So just before we do the final scores, I just want to thank everybody for making time to come out tonight or to log on tonight, especially our new friends out in Vancouver and elsewhere who logged on. We'll be doing this, I keep looking at the wrong camera. We'll be doing this every Friday night for November, and then beyond that, who knows? But hopefully, if you spread the word, encourage people to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yourself, please hit subscribe, hit like, hit all that stuff. And if you've got ideas for rounds you think work, rounds that don't work, rounds you want to see, or themes you want to see, send me an email. I have a new email address for this, drinkthinkto@gmail.com, or my regular mckaytaggart@gmail.com address. And let me know what you think. Yeah, I could put the rounds on PowerPoint. I mean, that's not a bad idea. It is a lot of work, and this is definitely not my only job. In fact, it's not a job. It's just something I like to do, but it is not a bad idea. Putting them on PowerPoint is something I could look at doing. I guarantee if we get sponsored, I'll put a little more effort into this. But until that happens, you get the half-assed version. All right, without further ado, also, thanks again to Michael Collins, who designed the logo for this, and to Tim and the team at Steam Whistle for prizes. Average score at the end of the evening. You guys shot up the average. In fact, I think I just didn't calculate the average properly in the earlier rounds. The average tonight was 31 points. So congratulations if you scored above 31 points. Yeah, Patreon or OnlyFans, both are things that I'm sure I would probably not do well on. The average score tonight was 31 points. The team who is going home with the penultimate prize, there's actually a tie between, let me see here. Nope, there is no tie actually. The team that is getting a 12-pack of Steam Whistle tonight for coming in the penultimate place is urinary 8-tract infection. Congratulations, well done. If you send me an email with your address, I'll send you one of those gift certificates. Well done to you. The teams on the other side of the leaderboard this evening are in 10th place. We have a tie, three-way tie for 10th place. Teams in 10th place are You're a Quizzard Harry, Kinder Egg Full of BS, and Electoral College Dropouts, tied for 10th. Tied for 9th place tonight, we have, I'm not even gonna read it, it's like 15 words long, and then it makes fun of my Wayfarer chairs, but that team is in 9th. Also in 9th, Never Gonna Count the Ballots, tied for 9th as well. At least we're above average. They are. You got your 7.5 or 6.5 points above average. In 8th place tonight, we have tied A Case of the Mondays, Deja Phase 2, and Portal Pilgrims, tied for 8th place. Well done. In 7th place tonight, Threat Level Midnight, Big Brian Academy, Happy to Be Back, and The Hanging Chads. All those teams are tied for 7th place. In 6th place tonight, alone in 6th place, No News is Good News. Well done. Number 5, tied. There are 3 teams tied for 5th. They are Bundles of Bazooper Bunch Boogaloo Boys, COVID-69, and Area Man, tied for 5th. Tied for 4th tonight, we have 2 teams tied for 4th. Those teams are Kung Fu The Lockdown Continues and Tit Suit for the Leg 2020 Soul. They're tied for 4th. Tied for 3rd, we have 2 teams tied for 3rd. We have Jackie Channing Tatum and Katrina and the Second Waves, aka Trivia Mun. Congratulations, those teams tied for 3rd. In 2nd place tonight, with a very impressive score of 51 points. Wow. In 2nd place, congratulations to Billy Ray Virus. Amazing work in 2nd place. And finally tonight, in 1st place, with a super impressive score of 55 points. Wow. That team is Keith Urban Spoon, a name close to my heart. well done, everybody who competed tonight. Thank you so much for logging on. I hope to see you back every Friday or a couple more Fridays. Please tell your friends and family, whoever else you want to join, and welcome your feedback. And that is it. So yeah, stay safe, stay distant, stay sane, and we'll see you next Friday for more quizzing and quarantine. Have a great night.